Do you want to know more about model railroad scenery? Why don't you stick around and watch this video and see how we do it on my unscaled model railroad, this her secondary. Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey Conrail and Inscale. Welcome back to the scenery playlist. So after looking at the channel, I realized that it's been like 4 months since I put up a video to update everybody on the status of the layout. But don't forget, I did tell you that it's going to be very, very busy and tons of stuff going on in the layout room and outside the layout room. A lot of stuff with my life and all that stuff, but also down here, I had the computer go down and just little projects that just been tripping me up. So however, I have been making progress on the layout, as you can see over my shoulder. So I want to get in here and do a video just to show you where we are and how we've been doing, and just touch base with everybody. So before I get started with the video and then we start talking train stuff, I got to take a time out here and just do some shout outs. It's come to my attention that a lot of my younger family members have become engrossed in watching this channel. So I got to give big shout outs to all my nieces and nephews and their friends. Brady, Michael, Olivia, my cousin Jason, and his little son Rocco. Thank you all for watching the channel, and I really appreciate all the support, and it means a lot to me to know that you're out there watching. The other thing is, I'm going to give a little shout out and a little plug for my nephew, my godson Michael. Michael is an aspiring YouTuber, and he just started his own YouTube channel, so he does a lot of Legos and stuff like that. So he's 10 years old and he's got his own channel, so go over there and check out his channel. I'm going to put up the link in the comment section. It's Lego City Train, and he really likes the Lego trains and stuff, so he does a lot of builds and stuff. So go over there and check out his channel, and hey, if you're into the Legos, give him a like. If not, just go there and check it out for me. All right, so there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's get back to work here. So we're going to go ahead and watch the video. I'm going to cut you over to that. Just realize, though, you're looking over my shoulder here, you'll see a lot of structures up. I'm not focusing on the structure builds because that, I really don't get into the whole structure builds. So I'm just going to leave that off the channel. I will go over them after the video. So, all right, take a look, and I'll talk to you on the backside. Okay, so going way back to May, this is me getting started on this area. If you remember, though, on the last video, I told you that the video footage really didn't amount to much, so I'm going to tack it on in the beginning here just to bring everybody up to speed. So I'm installing the pink insulation foam for the base of the scenery. So here I am getting started doing the crossings. These are done by Blair Line. They're laser cut wood, really nice little kits. Here I am installing them. So my thinking here is that I want to get these installed first before I start doing the contours of the roads and installing the roads. So never really installed these types of crossings. They were very easy, went in really well. You notice I had the trains running because I was very apprehensive if there was going to be a problem. I wanted to know right away before the glue's set. Okay, so now I'm getting started with contouring this pink insulation foam. As you see the hot wire cutter there, I started trying to use it. It didn't really work out. I just went over to the shore foam rasp, and that worked out perfectly. Just took a little time and a little eyeballing just to make sure that the level was the way I wanted. Up to keep everything nice and neat. Okay, so there was this odd little space between the Y and the yard, so I thought the easiest way to fill it in was to build a cardboard mesh and then come over it with the plaster gauze. It worked out really good. So here I'm getting started with the plaster gauze. You know, this is here, this little section, this is joining two different types of scenery techniques. You know, we got the cardboard mesh with the plastic gauze, and then we got the pink insulation foam, and then I'm blending it with the plastic gauze. So it came out really nice, the transition. Once you see later in the video, you won't even notice where it is. Okay, so at this point in the process, really got it down. I'm thinking at this point I'm really going to stick with the insulation foam from here on out. I've been able to develop the system using risers, so I only have to use 2 pieces of foam, so it's not a big giant block of foam like over there in Dayton. Okay, so in this little section I decided I want to put some more clouds up. Also did the haze effect down along the horizon. Came out really nice. Very happy with the outcome. And as you can see, I just start with a base of antique white, and then I use reefer white for my highlights. I use some cutouts of cloud shapes, and I tear some paper to use as masks to give those different kind of highlights in the clouds. And then I'll come in at the end here with some gray and do the undershadows on the bottom sides of the clouds. Really happy with my process and the way it's looking, so yeah, I can't wait to do some more clouds. So the best advice I can give you for doing these clouds is devote your whole day to it. Take your time, let it develop. Don't be afraid to step back, take a break, and then go back in and do a little more adjusting, and it'll really take the shape of its own, and it'll come out really nice. So time is really the key when you're doing this. Okay, so here we go, getting started with ground cover. We're starting over here by the yard. This is the yard office for Brown's Yard. What I'm doing here is I'm just putting in this area, I'm going to do a rough base of ground cover. I'm going to come back and do some static grass. Okay, so 2 key steps that are kind of going to be left out of this video because the footage disappeared. Well, one of them, the road footage disappeared when I did that. I don't know where it went, so I apologize for that. I'll make sure to make that a priority for the next video. The second thing was the paint. Before the op session, I made a quick decision. I'm like, you know what, I want the operators to have something better to look at than just pink and white. So just got some craft paints and slopped it on real quick, and that was it. Wasn't really too concerned about what colors of browns and brown tones I was using. Just kind of mixed a hodgepodge of different craft paints. So when I'm doing ground cover, first thing I'm doing is coming in with the Elmer's white glue and just putting a nice even layer down. And then I'm going to come in with my ground foams and sprinkle it with the spoon. I really like using the spoon, don't really like using the shakers because the shakers kind of get clogged, and the spoon is much better. You can direct it where you want it, and it's more control. So over these last couple sections, what I've determined is if you want to take your scenery to the next level, I think painting is a must. Having a good paint base down, covering up all that underlaying material. If there's like gaps in your ground foam, it doesn't show through as white or pink. You see the color of the dirt, so it adds for a more realistic look. Definitely think that's key. So this step here, what I do is I come in and I spritz everything with alcohol in a spray bottle to break the surface tension. Then I come in with a mix, 50-50 mix of white glue and water and a couple drops of dishwashing detergent, and I soak down the ground foam. So initially you would think by soaking the ground foam with that white glue that it's going to get all crusty and hard, but actually it comes back real fluffy and it helps the ground foam stay in place. So definitely give it a shot. Another big piece of advice I can give to you when you're doing ground foam is different textures, different colors. Don't be afraid to get a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different textures, maybe even vary it up and try different manufacturers. Really, nature has a lot of variety. Nature isn't all the same. So keep that in mind when you're doing ground foam, and it'll come out very good and you'll like it. That transition has really disappeared. I did come in with some Sculptamold to build it up because it was a little down, so and then painting it. And now once you put the ground foam on, you don't even notice. So the ultimate plan for these two areas here, the one by the yard and the one that I'm working on now, is going to be trees, big stands of trees in there. So that's why I'm not going to worry about too much about static grass or anything like that, because it is going to be a wooded area. So with this section here, I've made the determination I'm going to change my technique from Saraville. I'm going to concentrate a little more on adding more details as we go. You notice the signage. I put a lot of signs. Those are all from Blair Line. What I want to do is get them in and then cover the bases up with the ground foam so it doesn't look like I stuck them in as an afterthought. Notice I'm dressing up the edge of the roadway with some dirt. Wanted to make that shoulder area where there's that transition from like the green grass to dirt where cars have like run off the road. Really like the way it came out, kind of just finished off the scene. Now I'll come in here and finish up. spray a little alcohol down to wet everything, and then come in with the white glue. Okay, so here I am getting started with the easy line. So the first step in the process is go to the pole closest to the backdrop, and I wrap it around that cross member there. Then I give a dot of CA to start an anchor point, and then let it dry, and then I'll string it forward, and I'll put 2 turns on each one right near the insulator on the cross member. That'll hold the easy line in place. While you're doing this, make sure you're holding a slight bit of tension, or else you won't be able to make those loops. It's kind of just the way that elastic line works. So if you notice when I'm doing the poles, I'm just doing the transmission lines on the poles. I'm not doing the service lines. I'm not doing the telephone or the cable lines. So it's just a set of 3 across the top that would be representative of kind of like a 15 kV transmission line. Okay, so here we are getting started with the static grass. So I'm using the same process that I used last time, where but this time I let the ground foam dry up, and then I come back and put more white glue down. The only problem I'm finding is that where the ground foam was too thick, it kind of clumped up and moved around. So I'm thinking the next time I do static grass, I might just try it on a bare painted surface. Then all I do is I turn the unit on. I have the paper clip installed in the alligator clip, touch it to the wet glue, and just shake. It stands up. The last step is I just come in with a dust buster and suck up all the loose grass around the area, and then kind of just hover over the grass that I put in to try and help it stand up as much as possible. Don't touch the grass or get the dust buster too close, because you don't want to suck it up out of the glue. So I don't know if you can tell from this video, but I have the divider in. The Woodland Scenic Static Grass Applicator has a bin divider, so you can put 2 different types of grass in the bin at the same time. So I have a 4mm Hecky static grass and a 2mm Silflor static grass. The problem is I don't like the Silflor grass, and that is the darker green one, and because it's clumping together and it's not coming out of the unit and not dispensing. So I think in the future I'm just going to go with the Hecky 4mm. So I just want to dress up the area around the abandoned railroad station using Silflor buffalo tufts and just gluing it in just to give it a nice abandoned look, like, you know, weeds are growing in the parking lot. Alright, so that's going to put a wrap on our work. Very happy with the progress, and I'm really liking the way it came out. Okay, so there you go. That's how we did it. Oh, wow. So happy with the way it's coming out. So let's go over some things real quick. Structure-wise, I use this little area right in here as kind of like a little test platform to test a couple different structure kits out. I wasn't sure. I wanted to get into some other stuff and see what I liked and what I didn't like. So the Gulf Station right here, that is a laser cut paper kit. I can't remember the name of the manufacturer. I threw the box away. I got it from Pfeiffer Hobby Supplies. Really, they're made in Canada. I remember that. It's a cool kit. The laser cut paper really isn't my thing. It's kind of, you got to really pay attention to what you're doing. I had a tendency that some of the walls started to bow and all that, but it was really nice details. And, you know, there's not very many gas stations that I could use to fit this time period. So kind of went with the Gulf Station. And that might be the last paper kit I do, but we'll see. The next kit was also from Pfeiffer's Hobby Supply. It was the resin kit there. Super cool. Loved it. Not much prep work to do. You know, I had to clean up the flashing. Everything was true and straight. Went together super easy. And that's the Cumberland Farms. I converted it over to Cumberland Farms by putting the signage on it. Perfect little fit. So definitely going to be looking at some of those kits again, some of those resin kits. The last new one that I tried was the station that represent the Jamesburg, the Pennsylvania Railroad's station in Jamesburg. That is the upper Jamesburg station. There was two back in the day. That is a laser cut wood kit from Blair Line. Really nice, super nice. Really changed my outlook on laser cut wood because, you know, I always thought, oh, laser cut wood, it looks like they're from the, you know, the turn of the century and all that. No, not so much. You can really dress it up to make it fit the modern period, and that station really changed my mind about laser cut wood. So you can kind of see if I move that way. There's a couple, but I'm not gonna, we'll leave that for next video. So, you know, the slowdown in this whole spot here, why it's taken me 4 months to get to this is because this area is very intensive with the structures and trying to find the structure kits that I wanted to fit to make it look good. I didn't want to get into scratch building all this stuff because I would be down here scratch building all these structures for a year. And I want forward progress. And, you know, they're not railroad related, they're not industry related, so I didn't think it was a necessity to have them picture perfect and scratch built. So that's why I went with kits. And overall, I like the way the scenes come together and it works out really good. Now, what we did was just ground cover and some shrub work. Not going to put any trees because I want to get through this whole area here. And I'm going to do a giant batch of super trees. And also I want to try Tony Bone's candy tuft trees. And we'll just put trees in all together. So a lot of people have been asking, and you're probably going to ask too, in the comment section is, what am I doing with this hole? So that hole, what I plan on doing is painting that whiteboard in there blue so it kind of blends in, and then just frame it all out with a big just bunch of trees so it'll kind of block that view when you're looking from where the camera is right now. So that's the plan for the hole. Another thing was the poles. Really love that easy line stuff. That was it was a little tricky to get the hang of doing, and I really like the way it looks. You can't notice it unless you really take the time to look at it, but you get the sense that they're in there. What I really love about them is they are super springy. Like, look, I'm putting a decent amount of pressure. It's not even moving the poles. That is awesome stuff. So go over and check out Easy Line. Really cool for doing lines. Now, I did it in this area here because it's, you know, there's not much operations in here, so people are going to be reaching. Definitely not going to do it on any of the catenary poles because that'll just impede the whole yard operations, and I can just hear the comments from my yard operators screaming through the camera right now. No, don't do it. So as good as it looks, I think I'm going to really be... I'm going to think about where I want to put this Easy Line stuff because it looks great, but it could really hinder operations. The other thing that kind of was taking time to transpire here to get this whole scene together was I couldn't do any scenery in the area of that station because I needed to put the infrared sensor in for the traffic light over here and the crossing signals. Now, you can see it, it's working. That's all we're going to talk about, okay? I'm going to save it all for the next video. Trust me, okay? We're going to come back to this, so please, I know you're going to have tons of questions like, oh, what is that? But The thing was I had to get that infrared sensor in there before I could ballast the track, and I needed to ballast the track before I could do the ground cover, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get the thought here. So once I got that together, and I got to give a huge shout out to Brian Wallace, one of my operators. He made this whole project happen, and awesome, love it. So we'll come back to it next video. Road striping. I know there's going to be questions. I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of questions about that. Road striping was from Highways and Byways. It was the stick-on. I really apologize. It was late, and I forgot to start the camera, and it got going, and next thing I know, it was done. I was like, wow, it's super quick, really clean, looks awesome. Definitely going to show you how we do it on that section here. So next video, you'll see that coming out. And last thing, static grass. First of all, thank you to everybody who gave me the tip about using the paper clip to ground it. So much nicer. That big heavy thing that you remember me using in Dayton, it sat down in the grass and made footprints, and it was a pain in the butt to move. The paper clip, as you can see, I was just moving around, touching it, works perfectly. I'm going to tell everybody, because a lot of people are saying this on Facebook. Oh, the static grass looks awesome. I would love to try it. Try it. Do it. It's not as hard as everybody thinks. It comes out beautiful. Love static grass. Now, the only thing I want to caution you is I'm going to do it in certain sections. I don't want it to be static grass everywhere, because then it doesn't become the wow factor. I want to put pockets of static grass in where it's appropriate, so then it gets that wow factor. So that's the only thing I can see with static grass is once you get going, learn how to do it. It becomes so easy. You could really overdo it, and then it kind of just becomes like, So that's the best advice I can tell you. Go try it. Once you try it, you will love it, and it's not hard at all. I'm going to tell everybody, it's not that hard. I picked it up in, 2 times. I've done it 2 times, and now I'm so comfortable with doing the static grass that I can't wait to do some more. Okay, so that's all I want to go over this time. I want to stop now before I keep running on for hours. So this is going to be published here in November. Expect the next video coming out in December. I'm going to tell you, I'm going next week, going right into these structures. I'm going to start priming, painting, and we're going to go bang all that out, and we'll have that done by the end of December. And I'm planning on getting up to this portion right here. The lake and the channel will be done in the next video, and then all around the curve will be later. So yeah, keep an eye out for that video coming out soon. Yeah, I'm raring to go, and I got my energies and juices flowing, and very happy. So in closing here, a couple dates I'm going to throw at you. I know I got, looking at my calendar, I'm filming this here in the first week of November. I have a show coming up on Model Railroading Live. Then I have my op session on the 16th. That is going to be our last operating session for a while. That was a hard decision to make. However, I think it's best for my family, because there's a lot of energy and effort that me and my wife do to get the house ready to have guests over. So with the baby coming, I kind of just told all my operators, and they agreed. We're going to put a pause on it, and more than likely come back in the summertime of 2020. So yeah, so that'll be my last operation session. Then going into December, baby's due on the 12th. December 18th will be my last show with Model Railroading Live. I'm going to go on a hiatus from them for the baby, and probably try to come back in the late 2020 time frame. Not sure, but I'm leaving that kind of open-ended. So make sure you join us on the 18th over at Model Railroading Live for my last show. And then we're going into the Christmas season. So I'm going to take the time now to wish everybody happy holidays and Happy New Year. And don't forget, on the 31st, on New Year's Eve, I'll be putting out the year in review video, so keep your eye out for that. And with that, we're going to put a wrap on this video. So if you're seeing this video for the first time, you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel and follow us along, because I'm always putting out free content, and we'd love to have you join us. If you haven't done so already, check out our Facebook page and Instagram account, because I'm always posting daily updates of the status of the layout and all the projects that I'm doing, like these. And otherwise, that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.